Anyway, so let's get into the story about how I couldn't land. It's an air ambulance. An air ambulance is right in the middle of the runway, and the response back is yes, the airfield is closed. I'm diverting. I'm going up. I want to go down. Everyone, and welcome to the channel. And today we're back at Glebe Farm, back in the UK, flying, and the weather is glorious. Although I'm back with the flying coat on, and I've got my gloves back on because again it's the UK. It's mid-April and it's not quite warm enough, so the jacket is back on. Anyway, two things to talk about today. One, the thumbnail will have given it away and not being able to land. I need to get on with the checks, but the engine hasn't run for a couple of months, so let's see if the thing will start. Clipper up. Let's see if it does it. They're within 100 RPM of each other, and 2 degrees on the temps. Fuel I've already preloaded, that's 16 litres, so I know what I've got, and let's go fly. Glebe Farm traffic, Golf, Foxtrot, Whiskey Lima, lining up for runway 12 for immediate departure. Glebe Farm. All checks complete. Let's go fly and have a chat about some interesting stuff. Definitely thermic today. Feels wonderful to be flying back in Somerset again. Got Taunton ahead. We'll stay over there. Wellington. Definitely got a tailwind at the minute because there's no way I'm doing these speeds. So have a mosey around, and we've got Wiveliscombe over there. Now, one thing I find about flying from this farm strip is that because it's green, surrounded by green, surrounded by green, it's surprisingly difficult to find at times. So you have to use the surrounding features to kind of hone in on where it is. Like the solar panels behind me, was it Whitchurch Castle or Tower? I can't remember what the tower is. There's a tower up on that, and the forest on the hill, and the mast, so you sort of kind of hone yourself in. Now, this is the first flyable day for a while, so I think the skies are going to be busy. Just doing a quick orbit, get myself familiar with the area. Fields look good if I have an engine failure. Yeah, slight crosswind today. Speeds aren't that dissimilar. I don't think it made much difference which way I took off today. Right, let's see if we can get above these clouds and see if we can get into smooth air. Find a cheeky thermal, help us up. Do a bit of thermaling. Definitely chilly compared to Florida. I can guarantee you that. I wish I had my flying suit on. I couldn't find my flying suit today. Had to be the walking trousers and the fly candy jacket. Upper body's fine. Legs are somewhat going to be nippy. So we'll keep an eye on it. If I get too cold, I'm going back. Anyway, so let's get into the story about how I couldn't land. And it's a bit of a novel experience because we teach engine failures. And we teach about always being prepared to land. And I've been out on a lesson with a student, and we'd been flying around, covering the exercises, constantly looking for fields, as you do. If the engine quits, it's not an if, it's a when. But we came back. Now, Darley Moor has a number of activities that are going on. It's been a busy day on the tow. And the joy of the new season is that everyone's a little bit rusty when they come back. And we all make mistakes. Now, my friend Paul's done a video about this, about getting back into flying. I've been quite fortunate that there haven't been many layoff periods for me, and I try and fly when I can. However, we're on our rejoin. We've done our rejoin checks, and I look down the runway, looking at the windsock. We're a couple of miles out, and just about work out what's going on. There's this big, yellowy orange dot in the middle of the hard runway. Now, at this time, the grass runway is unusable. It is sodden with loads and loads of water. And there's a key point there, that at that time there weren't many land outfields because most of them are sodden. If you land, you'll end up turning over. So I'm now very conscious of with this little dot on the runway, and we get in the overhead. We've done our rejoin, and I look down. It's an air ambulance. An air ambulance is right in the middle of the runway. Now, we don't normally use the radio at Darley Moor, so I get the student to turn the radio on and call up, a couple of calls, and then someone responds back, and I ask them, is the airfield closed? And the response back is, yes, the airfield is closed. So I now start working on what contingencies I've got, and the one thing is time. How much fuel do I have? Now, we always go up with at least another hour of endurance if I can. So I've got a bit of time, but we're now eating into that, so I don't want to use my full bingo fuel, so I've got about 30 minutes. And so I'm running through the scenarios of going, right, can I land on Darley Moor racetrack? Probably not ideal, but it's an option. But our default is Colton Moor, so I call up and go, I'm diverting to Colton Moor. At which point, came back over the radio, Colton Moor's flooded. Oh, crikey. Okay, well, we've got Taton Hill, which is the nearest hard runway. Well, that's into wind, and it's a good 40 minutes from where we were. So I'm now running through all these options of going, I need information. So call back and say, I'm going to Colton Moor, precautionary landing. So we do a precautionary landing, join overhead, 100 foot, 50 foot. The surface looks good, it looks reasonable. It's been short, so it would have dried out a little bit. Anyway, so coming on final approach, and at which point we come in for a landing, and the mains touch, and then the nose touch, and it's like a sort of a... I've never been on an aircraft carrier landing, but it did feel like we decelerated reasonably quickly. We were still rolling, but it's like definitely, ooh, that's novel. So I increased the power. We've got a 45 degree, 50 degree crosswind, quite used to those. But it was just the whole procedure of going, I can't land where I took off. And I don't know if that's ever happened to anyone else, or you actually, when you do your local flights in the evening, etc., or you've landed away and you come back, that is something that you would naturally plan for. Now, we do, but it was just novel to actually have to implement this plan of I'm diverting off the back of a lesson and then waiting for the air ambulance to clear off. Got the phone call, and 30 minutes later we relaunched and landed back at Darley Moor. But it was just this whole, that's novel, that's not the norm, but I'm glad I had contingencies in the back of my mind that I couldn't land back where I took off from. And not because of anything in terms of structural, it was an emergency. So yeah, that was definitely a novel experience for the back end of a lesson, where you finish the lesson and you go, ooh, can't land. That was the story and eventualities that happened, and I just thought I would share that with you. Again, I share the good, the bad, the ugly. I hope from my little story and sharing my events and shenanigans. Shenanigans is probably not the right word, but just sharing my flying experience with you has helped. If you've had a really good story about what's happened to you, follow my Instagram, drop me a message in Instagram, it's on the screen now, and I'll probably compile them together and pick one or two and then read them back out, if you're happy for them to be shared. I'm assuming by the very fact that you've written to me, you're happy to share that story. So yeah, it was just, I thought that was a really, really good learning point. And we can always learn, we can always be better in what we do as aviators. Just need the weather at the moment. Here we go, nice little thermal, there you are. Let's get into that thermal. Free lift. He's trying to kick me out. There's the sink, and there's the lift. Right, I think I'm going to quit now because A, my knees are cold, my fingers are getting a bit cold, and it's not Florida. So, where's the strip? Strip ahead. I think we're on a 90-degree crosswind today, so I think I'll land uphill. I'm actually having to increase the RPM because the engine is cooling far too much. It's bonkers to think that when I look down there, I know I won't land. No, I won't land. I'm just too high. I'm going up. I want to go down. Back to Adam flying. The thing don't come down like a 9. My Udi thinks I'm thermaling. I'm not. It is getting a bit punchy now. I need to go again, another orbit, just to get down so I can get into the runway. Yep, that's getting a bit punchy. Let's go in and land. Oh, stop going up. I want to go down. Come on. Right. Core checks complete. That was novel. Got proper dumped there. Not a bad landing though. Oh, to be landing on grass. I like grass. I really do. Really nice to have some grass flying again. Always makes your landings look nicer as well. Everyone asks me why I've got a brake. It's because I'm going downhill. Definitely a crosswind has picked up. Right. Half an hour. Not bad. Anyway, I'll join you in the outro camera. See you in a bit. So everyone, and this is pretty much the outro to the video, but you may have realised or may not have worked out that actually this video was taken from last year. It was April 2024, just after I got back from Sun and Fun. And if you haven't seen those videos, they'll be up here in the corner. I'll leave a link to the full 5 videos that I made for Sun and Fun last year. This was a very interesting video for me to put together, and that's why I wanted to actually re-edit it or edit it to get it out here for the useful side of it, of why we have to think when we fly and not assume that we'll be able to get to where we're going and have to make diversions. So again, I hope this has been of use, just sharing my story. If you do have an interesting story of your own, please drop me a message on Instagram, and I say I'll compile a few of the interesting stories together in a future video. And say I like to make content that's about other people, not just about me. So if you have got an interesting story, please drop me a message via Instagram. This pretty much wraps up the video. I hope it's been of use, and I will see you in the next one. So until next time, everybody, fly safe.